Hi there, group members. This is JoLynn Deal. I'm one of the instructors at the Nonprofit Marketing Academy, and this is a little bit longer rendition of our marketing minutes. Today, I want to talk to you about impact reporting and what you can do as a new nonprofit, or maybe you've only been in business for a few years, to prove the impact that you're going to make on the community or that you are making on the community. There's a couple of resources I want to point out. The first is an article that you can find at the nonprofitmarketingacademy.com, and it's titled How to Leverage Impact Reporting to Sustain a Future for Your Nonprofit. And what we do is we go into detail about what are the things that your stakeholders, your donors, your business partners, and sponsors are looking for when it comes to your nonprofit and how you're making an impact. And so we've given you some guidance on that. And one of the steps is to clearly define your nonprofit's purpose and use full transparency when reporting your performance on delivering measurable outcomes. If you haven't delivered any outcomes yet because you're a new nonprofit and you're fundraising, then what you can do is list the goals that you are striving to obtain. So your outcomes are actually going to be your goals, and you can talk in depth about those goals, talk about how you plan to reach those goals, what business partners you have, what community partners you have, what volunteer measures you're taking, grants, anything that you're doing to help meet those goals you'll want to share with your audience. So let's look a little bit farther. I encourage you to read the article because we go into detail about how to do this, but you're going to want to include narrative and details about your nonprofit's commitment to excellence. A lot of times what you'll see is nonprofits asking for a sponsorship or a donation to support either a program or the nonprofit as a whole, but we don't hear how things are going after we've made that donation. That's a critical mistake. You want to make sure that you're always keeping your supporters up to date. That is one of the key ways that you'll bring them back to becoming a repeat donor and a really strong supporter of your nonprofit. Your nonprofit is bound to face challenges. That's just going to happen. Look at where we are right now with COVID-19. Use truthful content, technology, and intelligence to talk about these challenges that you're facing and use it to solve the challenges. Here are some things to do. What content or information can be created to help resolve the challenge? What technology can be used to resolve the challenge? Begin the search looking for free technology. You'll find a lot of free technology on our free resources tab in the Academy. And number 3, will training for employees or other team members help resolve the challenge? Because training can also be free. We want to be clear on our challenges. We want to talk about them with our stakeholders. And most importantly, we want to let them know this is what we're doing to resolve these challenges that we're facing. That's all donors and sponsors and community partners want. They want to know that if you do face a challenge, you're on top of it and you're trying to resolve it. Finally, manage your reputation. Even if you're not on social channels, other people might be on there talking about you. So use different things to make sure that your reputation is where it should be. Sites like Charity Navigator, charities.org, directrelief.org, and GuideStar are all the different types of reputation sites that publish information about nonprofits. And finally, tell your performance story with data and interactive visual content. And there are free tools to do this. A couple that we've pointed out include Google Sheets. You can plug in your data into the Google Sheets and then select a chart that helps to tell the story. You can use canva.com and focus on mission-focused content. We have a video tutorial series that gives you 27 examples of the types of content we're talking about. And then quickly, I want to draw your attention to a landing page that's easy to create on your website, but is extremely impactful. And it's a place you can continue to send visitors, donors, partners to hear your story and your success. So I'll take us there quickly. Okay, this is an example donation landing page for a nonprofit. And this is really where you'll send people to make a donation for any of the programs that you're offering, but it's kind of a capture all of your performance and what you have planned with your nonprofit. It's really a one-page story. So you'll begin at the top by writing a compelling headline. What is one sentence that describes the importance of the work you do? Be very careful not to use extremely broad and general terms, like we're going to offer community support for the neighborhood. Be specific. What does that mean? And while you might be broad in your headline, make sure you're at least specific down in the content below, because people want to know specifically what are you doing. That's what you're going to be reporting on. And so the next section on this guideline is we'll show you some landing page goals. And that is, you want to drive viewers to your website for their next step. They're already on your website, but you're using this page to bring them there. You want to offer complete transparency about the impact your organization makes on the audience you serve. You want to attach real people, your team and your clients and your volunteers, to the work that you do. People resonate with people more than they do institutions. And you want to host content that can be used across multiple channels. And so over on the right, we have some design guidelines for you to follow. And I'll just walk through the page quickly so that you see it. Included on this page, you'll see several page design tips that give you little tips along the way. But the first section should kind of give a very meaningful face and message and humanness to your nonprofit. So in our example, we have join Jeff, Eleanor, Michael, and hundreds more Spokane residents fighting to end homelessness. And so with the first bullet, you'd share about the total number of people helped. Here, you'd share about how you measure your impact. How are you doing this? Do you have monthly reports? Do you have audits? Do you have independent audits? How are you measuring your success? And then the third bullet would be to share about a new program or an upcoming program. And then we've kept our call to action really small. And that is, can you make a small $5 donation today? The tip here is to don't ask for anything too large, because they don't know you yet and you don't know them. And anything larger might be off-putting. What you can do is on your donation page that you link to, leave the amount blank. Let them fill it in. And so over on the right, we have a picture of one of our volunteers, and she's telling how much the work that she does with this nonprofit means to her. So you want to make sure that you put a face with a quote in this top section. There's some more tips for you. As people scroll down, we've provided examples of videos that you can create or have created for you by a volunteer to tell your story. This center one is one of our group members. It's Young Vision Africa. And we love this video that tells their story and the work that they're doing over in a small area of Sierra Leone. Mix it with other content. In this section, we've created a PowerPoint that talks about our progress, 800 meals delivered, 12 trainings delivered, and then we'll include, hey, watch this podcast, which is an interview with a supporter, or listen to this podcast rather, or listen to this podcast, which is an interview with a board member. You could put a link to a blog post, all kinds of things. But we really want to give our audience different samples of content to use. Next, make your messages loud, bold, and clear. This example is, it has been a tough climb, but thanks to our supporters, we have helped 1,000 families. Ideally, you want to share pictures of these families, but there might be confidentiality issues. So instead, we'll look for an image that kind of tells that story. And so here we've included one of a lot of steps. And that's why we're saying it's been a tough climb. So think about that. If you can't share the images of the people you're working with or your team or your volunteers, then think about images that'll still make an impact. We love outcomes and statistics. Anytime you can tell about something that you're doing or success, please do that here. Put it up near the top even. You can talk about the number of people served. If you haven't served anyone yet, put your annual goal. Planning to serve this many people this year. Planning to gain this number of local businesses supporting us. Planning on having this many volunteers. You don't have that information yet, so tell people what you're striving for. It's just as impactful. And then get some testimonials from either volunteers, board members, business sponsors, even your employees about how great your organization is. Repeat your call to action, the small $5 donation. And then again, we have some tips that take you through it. We will post the link to this landing page sample as well as the article I referenced in our Facebook post, so you can look for it there, as well as in the description of this video on YouTube. Thanks so much. If you have any questions, meet us over in the Nonprofit Marketing Roundtable, and we'll be happy to help you.